Oh, hey, what's up, man? Hey, you know what? I was just checking my microphone because last week I came out and I did this thing where I didn't have my microphone on. So, and I just got a private message from Miss Lynn Burnett, my cohort. Hopefully, we can get her in here real quick, and we can get the show started. So, please, while you're just joining me, just do me a quick favor. And if there is one thing that you would love to do more than anything in the world, just type it in the chat. So I'm going to get Lynn on here with me real quick, and we'll get this party started. How you doing, Mr. Avery? It's nice to see you here. Christy Dolores is with us. What? Get her done? Yes, sir. That's what we're about, is getting her done. Can you
Get
hear
her
me
done.
tonight, Lynn? Can you hear me
Yes,
tonight?
I heard you. Yes.
Yeah, I actually was like over here as it was getting ready to go live. Yeah, I was playing with my microphone, making sure that the light was green and all. Because, well, I don't think people need lip reading classes tonight. I think they've pretty much got it down.
I think so. I think you've given them a lot of lessons on the lip reading thing. So we got the sound going tonight.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So, how was your day?
Um,
What did you do today?
Today was crazy, and I was thinking about 50 minutes ago, I thought, holy cow, my day has been crazy, connecting with unbelievable people. There's unbelievable, amazing people in this world. And if,
Oh yeah.
for those of you watching, if you are not connecting with people out there in social media, there's people doing amazing things that you didn't even know happened. So if you happen to be friends with somebody that lives in a different part of the world, or reach out to people that live in a different part of the world, you know, being in podcasting for so long, you meet so many amazing people because you have so many great guests, but people are connecting me with people, and I'm having a blast with Mile High Radio and helping people just get their voice out there. It's, I think, not for business, not just for business, but it is so helpful for people that just need to find their voice. But I've just been connecting. I connected with Brian to get his show on the station. So it's a great addition to our Wednesday nights, because Wednesdays are music days on Mile High Radio. We've got, Floydian Slip. So if you're a Pink Floyd fan, with the Grateful Dead Hour. And then we've got Brian, his show coming in with Heavy Metal Thunder. So yeah, it's been a great day, great day. I love doing what I do. I love this. And you remember the days of when you work 9 to 5? I work like double that a day, and
Whenever to
it doesn't feel
whenever.
like work. It's seven
Right.
days a week. It's 7 days a
It's
week
when
being,
it's whenever to whenever. Some days you might only put in 3 or 4 hours. Some days you might put in 20 hours. It all depends on what's required of your time at that in that any on any given day. Let's try to spit this out. I had a shit day today. I tell you.
oh,
Oh gosh. Um, but I'm not gonna bring us down with my day, because I'm here now, and this is what I love to do, and this is what I'm so passionate about. So
yeah.
the end of my day is absolutely fantabulous
Yeah.
because I get to spend it with you.
Yeah. I know. Isn't it great that we get to hang out for the next while and hang out with people?
Oh,
And
definitely.
I love the great post you made. Yes, November is National Entrepreneur Month. There's more and more people starting their businesses. People are afraid to take the leap, and so many people are unhappy in their jobs and they don't like what they do. And God, you spend so much time doing it. Um, it's just not a great place to be. So we want to talk about that tonight. If you're an entrepreneur, like, share this out with people that are, friends that are entrepreneurs, and or people you think want to be or should be, or I
Or
mean,
actually,
hey, you can do anything.
tonight we're kind of piggybacking off of what we talked about last on Monday. making a decision and things like that. And tonight we're specifically going to piggyback off of that how to make a decision question is, can I test this?
Yes, I was
So
thinking about that today as I was preparing
yes.
for tonight. Yeah, can you
And I
test it?
was like, this is going to be such an amazing night because you and I have both done this on a lot of occasions. Um, and I know there's so many people out there that do the same thing. People, for example, one of the first people that I met who introduced me to the word side hustle. Yeah, because I didn't know what a freaking side hustle is. I
Side
figured
hustle.
if you need to make extra money, you just went out and you made extra money. It wasn't called
Got another
anything.
job. Got another job.
Right, you got another job, or maybe you helped a buddy out with building a deck or something, whatever. But
Took all your empties back.
the took your empties back. And here in South Dakota, it takes a lot of empties because we don't have the 5 cent thing. And it's like, man, I need to move
Don't
over to
you?
Michigan or Iowa. No, no, no. We just crush them up and take them to the recycling center, and they give us whatever aluminum is worth that month. It's horrible.
Really?
Horrible. Oh, yeah. It's
Wow.
just so I want to say a quick thank you to a bunch of folks who are playing in the chat today. Nate Alt, Charles Kovac. I know you two for a fact are veterans, and this weekend we have Veterans Day coming up. And, here's the thing. A lot of veterans right now are getting into this side hustle gig, even before they get out of the military. And that's one of the things that we're going to touch on maybe a little bit later. But, I just want to, just throw a quick shout out to all the veterans out there coming up this weekend. If you're watching tonight and you're not, and I miss you somehow, thank you very much for doing what you do. If it weren't for people like you, the rest of us wouldn't have the ability to do the things that we do. So thank you very
Hmm.
much. I appreciate each and every one of you. You are all my brothers and sisters, and I love seeing how you guys show up in the world. So with that,
Yeah.
let's talk about some
Yeah.
side hustle. Let's do the hustle.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to do that dance. What the hell am I doing?
I'm sure you could YouTube it.
Probably could. I probably could YouTube it, but yeah, well, let's do a show instead because it's a lot
Yeah,
more entertaining and a whole lot more fun.
it is. Yeah, and you know what? It absolutely is. Having a side hustle, now is the time more than anything. I was reading this article on entrepreneur.com that now it's almost as if like every year that you don't is actually doing you more damage. And, 1 in 3 Americans, I read this, 1 in 3 Americans now makes money independently from their 9 to 5 paycheck. There are so many opportunities now, and it's even easier now to start something. Uh, and you can do it for almost nothing. And you can be your own boss, but who would really struggle is people who need certainty.
Yeah, they do struggle with it because it's hard to make that jump, no, not knowing where you're gonna get that next check from. And people with certainty have a hard time with sales, a real hard time with sales because you just don't know how that process is going to turn out. But I want to jump on something here real quick that you said. You know, 1 in 3 Americans are doing something on the side to bring in extra money, and a lot of people are saying that the traditional career paths, that's dead. That's something that has gone away. You don't get people who are spending 30, 40 years in a career anymore.
No.
You're finding people that maybe spend a little bit of time in this job and then a little bit of time in this job, and they're almost using these jobs as stepping stones, learning the skills that they need to be able to do things on their own.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and where I live here, I live on Vancouver Island, British Columbia, Canada. A major forest company is just shut down that used to transport logs. It's been around for 100 years, this company, And now all those people are going to be out of work. And there is no such thing as job security. When I was growing up, I remember my parents used to say quite often, get a job in the government. You get a job in the government, you're set. You're not even set there anymore with, your job and your pension and seniority and union and, nothing. We see things close down all the time. And back in 2008 was a big crash for the US and Canada, and people were just left like, what do we do now? That's a great reason to have something on the side that you can work on, that you can build. I mean, time is passing anyway. What is it that you love to do that maybe you can, test out? And I've got a list of things. I don't know if you have that. I had sent it to
I
you, but I don't
I
know if you.
don't have the list that you wrote up, but I also pulled up a list of some things as well.
Yeah,
In
okay. Well,
fact,
we'll probably tag off each other then.
yeah, definitely. And yeah, one of the things we want to do is, yeah, we want to share with you some common side hustles, some more popular side hustles. But here's the thing. You said it perfectly. You can start this almost for free. I mean, literally,
Now,
I know several side hustles that are very easy to start with absolutely no money in your pocket. All it takes is a little bit of tenacity to go after what it is that you want to do. And and a lot of it is in the online space, and I know a lot of people want to work in that online space because they think it's easy. But I tell you what, one of my buddies, Dr. Rob Garcia, he has worked in this online space, and I've seen what this has done to him, this online space. It's hard. It isn't just
oh,
throwing
it
up
is.
some links and spamming some groups and telling people who you are and enforcing that so often that it sounds as though you're the most arrogant son of a bitch in the planet. It's not about that. There's so much more out there when it comes to creating a side hustle, especially one that you maybe not don't have a whole lot of money to start.
Yeah,
A lot of people miss out on what they can do locally, what they can actually do with their hands. It's maybe a little bit more physical work,
yeah.
but the end result is you still have money in your pocket. The what you lack in let's see, technical skills, you can use your operational skills for, and really
Yeah.
kind of step up and put a lot of money in your pocket. And I'm going to discuss that in a little bit as well.
You can even start making money before you even like start, even depending on
Yeah.
what you do.
Yep.
When I read, it was last year when I read that article about that guy in California that started a people walking business. I mean, come on. There are people that need what you have to offer. And it's not just a talent or, it's a skill, it's, your time. You can do something that somebody wants. So there's like a waiting list for people to walk, people that don't want to walk alone, people that do better when they have somebody with them. And and this person has a waiting list to walk with people. So they're getting exercise, they're outside. Like, you can do anything. Anything is possible. Years ago, 26 years ago, my dad passed away, but when he had first was diagnosed with cancer, he couldn't do his regular job, but wanted to make money. My dad was always very good at that. And he thought, I'm going to wash windows. People don't like to wash windows. So I'm going to put an ad in the paper, before we had internet and stuff, and to wash windows. Well, holy hell. Like, my mom and my dad went out and did it, made great money. And, so my dad always put it out there that to us kids, like, there's always a way. Be resourceful. There's always a way. Somebody has what you need, and you're paying for either somebody's skill or the convenience of not having to do it yourself. So, if you're watching, just start thinking of the possibilities. Is what do you have? Do you have skill? Do you have time to give? Like, what can you give that would benefit somebody else? So
I've told the story on my other show, Raw and Real, and I've actually laid it out. I've told the story, and I actually laid it out on how people can get started doing the window cleaning thing. And
Yeah, I remember
this
that.
the story kind of goes, and I'll just do the abbreviated version of it. But the story kind of goes: I had $50 to my name. I dropped my wife off at work. I didn't have a job, so I needed to go out and make money. I happened to find myself at the local Lowe's, walking down the aisles trying to figure out what it is that I could do. I found the Atori section where they had the squeegees and the mops and the poles and a bucket, and I used $45 to buy all the equipment that I needed, and I put $5 in gas. Went just a few blocks away into a rich neighborhood of Dallas Fort Worth area. Actually, it was Grapevine, Texas. I just, and I started just knocking on. I got lucky. The gate guard let me into the gated community, and I started knocking on doors. And that first day, I didn't just make my $45 back. I made almost $500 in my first day. So it's
Ooh.
in now, mind you, that's one of those places where this type of business, the window cleaning business. Now, I'm sure when your parents were doing it, it was probably in the 80s time frame. There was a lot of money floating
Yeah.
around. People were paying for those luxury services, like
Yeah.
having somebody else clean your windows
Yeah.
or having somebody else trim your hedges, things like that. But when I
Yeah.
was doing this, mind you, it was in 2009 when the
Oh,
it was right after the bubble
after
burst.
that.
To,
Yeah.
yeah, 2008 hit. We lost all our money. I lost a lot of money in investments,
So
and
did
it
we.
just, yeah, and I didn't have nothing. I was depressed. I didn't do, it was like, wow, what am I going to do? Window cleaning, and it saved my life. It literally
Yeah.
saved my life. After losing as much money as I lost, there were a few nights where I didn't know if I wanted to wake up the next morning.
Yeah. Yeah. That was a bad time. Oh my God. Yeah. We lost investments and stuff. But, that's going to continue to happen up and down, up and down. But I
Hmm.
just want to say quick, yeah, Chris, you've got the hustle. The hustle's out there. I was reading too that average millionaire, the average millionaire, it just sounds funny now, right? But there are a lot of millionaires out there. Has seven different streams of income.
Hmm.
Seven. Because you count on one, you've got that one boss. Good reason to try something out, to have a side business is, you've got that one person that has so much power over you. They decide whether you can make more money. They decide whether you're going to have a job. They decide when you get some time off. Like, you've got that one person who just decides so much in your life. You got freedom. Freedom if you know, you don't have that same paycheck. At least with a job, you can count on, exactly how much you're going to make every 2 weeks. But there's no cap on your income, and you don't have that one person that could just turn your day to shit. Instead, you have
Yeah,
a whole
and
lot of people online that could turn your day to shit. But
but
you're
I'm
the
gonna
boss.
share. But I'll share with you a little tip, something that somebody told me once, uh, and it has absolutely made the difference on whether or not my side hustle is more business than hobby, because
Yeah,
there's a lot of people out there spinning their wheels, believing that they're in business, but really what they have is a hobby because they keep dumping money in, but they're not receiving any returns.
yeah,
And that's a hobby, folks. That's not a business. That's just a hobby.
yeah, yeah,
But keep on grinding. You never know. Something might take off. But the thing that was told to me that made all the difference between whether or not I was just had a cool hobby versus actually making money was the way to price things. If you can figure out for the year, what do you need to make for this one service for the year? Now this is something that anybody can use in any one of the side hustles. Figure out what it is that you want to make in that year for that specific thing. Let's say building a deck, for example, is just one service of many services. and I say I need to make at least $20,000 a year building a deck. Now I take that $20,000 and I divide it by 52 weeks out of the year, and then I divide it again by 40 hours in a week, and that gives me a number. Usually it's right around $200 or so, or actually at 20,000 it's about $123. So I figure I need to make $123 an hour to be able to build that deck. And then when I bid out my deck work, say that deck is going to take me 10 hours, that's $1,230. That's how I figure out how much I'm going to price my services when I do different services like that. And you can use it for anything.
Yeah.
So, for example, I used it in coaching. I figured I needed to make at least $70,000 a year in my coaching business in order to be able to support my family. So I did the same type of thing, and lo and behold, I made the money that I was asking for, because people can see when you're just throwing numbers at them, you don't really know. But when you have a way of actually creating a system, creating a way to price your services that's solid, people don't question that so much.
Yeah. I do the same thing. What do you want to make that year in all different things? So maybe you have a few different things and they can add up to whatever it is you want to make, divide it. Except what I do is I take the weeks of holidays out I want first, and then how many weeks do you have left in that year, and then divide it by that many weeks. But yeah, that's a great way to do it, because you see that a lot. People don't know what to price their services. They don't know, That's a great tip you shared.
And like Chris just said, there's a big difference. There's definitely a difference between a hobby and a job. So,
yeah.
And don't fool yourselves, folks. Don't fool yourselves. If you have a hobby, own it. Own it, because until you own it, you're not going to turn it into a business. It's just not going to happen. You have to call a spade a spade. You have to understand what it is that you actually have in front of you in order to make the changes to be able to take it to that next step. So what do you think about sharing some side hustles?
Sure, go for it.
Oh, you just kind of look bored.
No, I'm listening to you because you're sharing some good stuff. I love that tip that you shared. That was really good that you threw that in for people because I see that a lot. It's people, they don't know what to price, either, a package type service or an hourly rate or whatever that is. That's really good, because I see people struggle with that a lot. So,
well, I think that's where a lot of people get hung up on their business, is the pricing,
but they're not confident. That's part of the big thing too, is they think, oh, well, I don't know, who am I to ask for that? Or, am I really that good? Or, all these different things. Or the whole, as a hobby or business, a lot of people don't own that it's a business. Well, I really enjoy it. Well, so they think that they shouldn't, that they should so undercut themselves to the point where they just, because of that. Own it. Like, you have a business, be a business owner. Yeah. No matter what it is.
And also, know the difference between freelancing and being a business owner. It's okay to be a freelancer. You don't have to, be a business owner. There's no extra points. There's no extra, oh, here's your bathroom, Mr. Business Owner. Here's your bathroom, Mrs. Business Owner. Oh, you're a freelancer. You get to go use that one over there. The
porta potty.
The porta potties. No, there's no differences. I mean, a freelancer, they're doing what they do.
You're still your boss.
You're still your own boss, but just really understand. So, I've actually been trying to find this list, but one of the things that I found a lot of people getting into lately, and I don't want to talk about it right off the top, but is that cryptocurrency thing. I don't know a whole lot about cryptos, so I am going to leave that conversation for another time, once we understand that a little bit more. So I'm not going to be throwing cryptocurrencies into this list yet.
Yeah, I know some of it. I have some friends who did, and I was going to get into it too. And it was all frozen up because so many people, you couldn't buy into it. But anyway, yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So I've only got 15 different ones that I picked out based on how easy it is to get involved in it, the cost to get involved in it, and also the return on investment. So the 15 that I chose, the first one is remote teacher, basically virtual tutor. And what I like about that is you can get into this absolutely free if you have a good in with maybe some of your local schools. But even at a low price point, I mean, you could throw a few Facebook ads out and not spend a whole lot of money on those and find customers relatively quickly, or even just join groups and just ask people, is there anybody looking for tutoring? Look at the different types of school related groups like algebra, for example. I would totally have paid for that service. I don't think I ever
Yeah.
did pass algebra. So
I had a tutor for algebra. God, I hate math so bad. Like I count on my fingers. Thank God I have fingers. If I ever like lost my hands in an accident, I would be screwed for the rest of my life. I'd never be able to count. But that's a good thing about teaching because there's ways you can do that for free. There's programs online. Hell, you could teach people to knit. If you enjoy knitting and there's people that are getting into it, teach a knitting class online.
in that, now that you mentioned that, you can also look at, a lot of people, they get into doing YouTube videos. uh, they'll learn about YouTube, and this is free because YouTube has got a really cool channel called Creator Studio. You can learn anything and everything you need to know right there for free, not only from their videos but from the people that are chatting. So if you're trying to learn something from YouTube, pay attention to what they're saying in the chat. You never know who you're going to find and who you can connect with to help you learn something, and typically they won't charge you anything.
I got
However,
something better than YouTube.
awesome. What is it?
I like it better than YouTube, and it's free. And you can
Oh,
keep a list of people in there, and you can record, and you can send out invites. It's expertise.tv.
yes, yes, yes. They do have
They have paid plans, but they do have a
they
free
have
plan.
paid plans. Yeah, but and I've got the free plan too.
They're awesome.
But yeah, they are awesome. I just just a small caveat to that. Even though expertise.tv is great, you can do the same thing with YouTube. It's very easy to be able to create your following and create your lists and invite
I
them and
find
send them
YouTube
out. So,
can be confusing, though. That's the only thing.
yeah, it
I
can
like
be.
the
It can
setup of
be, and
expertise.
yeah, and it's very user friendly. And now here's the other thing with expertise.tv is if you do decide to use the paid plans, you can actually link that to you can link those to membership sites, to your own
Yeah,
membership sites. And creating a membership site is actually my number two thing. Membership sites, a lot of people think, oh, that's the past. They're kind of going away, but no, they're not going away. People are just
no,
understanding that they're not going to pay $97 a month for a membership site anymore. So
yeah,
now you're starting to see more and more sites that are like $27 a month or $19 a month,
yeah,
and they're making just as much money on a $19 a month membership site as they are on those $97 a month. Yeah, you didn't need as many members,
yeah,
but you're retaining members longer because the price point is low enough and the value is high enough to where
yeah,
people will stick around for those updates.
yeah. Thanks for the invite, Janet, but no, I am not a knitter. I used to do embroidery, but I'm way too impatient. I would like start and I'd want it done in like 2 minutes. I like to see instant results. But that's great. That's awesome. Do it online. Make some money. Janet has an accounting business for small entrepreneurs in Nanaimo and surrounding areas. So if anybody's in the local area, Janet does bookkeeping. Just throwing that out there.
That was my number 9.
What?
Bookkeeping services. Um,
If you're
people out
smart
there,
enough.
yeah, well, there's people out there who have, jobs in the accounting field, or maybe you're in finance in in your job or whatever, and bookkeeping is something that you do already.
Yeah.
There's a huge need for the small business owners, or the side hackers, if you will, or the side hustlers. There's a huge niche open right now for people who need those services, especially when it gets close to tax time. Because
Yes.
people like me, when I first started getting into business and started learning, I got penalized huge my first year that I claimed taxes. Big time.
Did you?
I thought I was on the every 3 months plan. Apparently, because my
Uh,
business was a small business and it was less than 5 employees, I had to pay monthly on any revenue. So I didn't realize that. So I got penalized by this IRS because I didn't pay monthly. I was paying quarterly. But they don't
oh
tell you
shit.
that. They don't tell you that right away. They wait until you file taxes before they tell you, oh, by the way, you're supposed to be paying monthly. And because of that, you don't have a return anymore, because the job you have, we're going to take all that money to pay off the fine and the fees associated with you not paying your taxes on time. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's get with a bookkeeper. And Janet, if you have a link, if you do this stuff online, please put your link in the chat,
Yeah.
because I would love people to reach out to you and see what you can do to help them out.
Yeah, very important. I've talked to lots of people that, yeah, you talk to them. Like, yeah, just talk to them and find out because, oh my God, I've heard terrible stories just like yours.
Yes. And
Shitty.
that's a common story for new entrepreneurs. You don't know what you don't know. And I didn't have um, I I didn't have access. I was in a small town, so I didn't go to the SBA. If you're thinking about turning your side hack into a full-on business, go talk to someone at the Small Business Administration. They have them in Canada. They have them in the United States. They have it online questioning. So even if you're in another country, they won't be able to answer the laws for your country, but they'll be able to point you out or point you in a direction where you will
Yeah.
be able to find someone in your country to be able to talk to. So definitely
Yeah.
reach out and talk to the free resources. The SBA is a free resource. Use them.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll save you a lot of money.
Yeah. That's a good one. Give us another one.
So number
Yeah.
7, I'm all over the place because we actually went to number 9 after number
That's
2.
okay.
So I'm just going to go backwards now. Number 7 is presentation. Uh, a lot of people don't realize this, but I can probably talk to about 10 people in my community who have something that they would like to talk about, whether it be a healthcare product, a wellness product, a gym membership, or something. Personal training services. So one of the things that you can do, and this is something that I've been playing around with a little bit over the course of the last 2 months, and that is creating presentation opportunities. So here in my community, the local Starbucks, there's a Starbucks here in town that has a little meeting center. And what I do, they let you use it for free as long as you tell
Buy coffee.
your people, hey, let's go get some coffee. Oh, how about that?
Yeah. Go buy
And
coffee.
sometimes I actually buy the coffee myself, because they'll bring out this big
Oh yeah.
coffee urn thing,
Yeah.
and I'll buy it myself, and that way it kind of appeases them as well. But you can find these places where it's either free or very inexpensive to rent a meeting room. And then I set this up where I have maybe 2 or 3 service, and I
Uh-oh.
try to make the services work together, like personal training, wellness, and nutrition, for example. I'll try to get 3 presenters that kind of fill that niche. and then
Yeah.
I'll set it up, and then I'll invite people, and people show up, and at the end they have the opportunity to talk to them to sell product. Now, the way I make money from this is when Joe Steele sells a personal training package for $120 a month, I'm making a little bit off of that. Um,
Referral fee.
right, referral fees and
Yeah.
stuff like that. Typically, we're right around the 15 to 20%, and he's okay, and that's reoccurring because as
Yeah.
long as he keeps and maintains that same customer every month, I maintain that 15 to 20% off of that referral. So
Yeah.
that's how I work that presentation thing, and I haven't done a lot of them. I only do about one every 3 weeks or so, and yeah, it's
What's
that's
your I have to ask because you bring that up talking about community. What is your uh what's your community like in terms of say things like that with presentations and events and because I'm curious because I have to tell you where I live, and I know that this is a big frustration for a lot of people here where I live. The lack of commitment from people, people who want to barter a whole lot more than they want to pay. Um,
Mhm.
people like uh, it's really tough around here, and I hear that from a lot of people, and I did experience that myself. So that so the majority of what I do is online, and it seems to be kind of tough for some business people here. So what is
Well,
it like where you
those
are?
those virtual meetings are great. They're awesome, and they work if you're in a remote area. Where I'm at, okay, so Rapid City about 10 years ago started this big push to modernize the city, and they're still going through that big push. They created a new artsy district downtown, so it's very art focused. And then they built a brand new convention center, and they added on to the what's it called, Rapid City Arena, whatever. It's not an arena, but
Yeah,
they literally have two separate arenas now, and then another convention hall, complete upstairs full of convention halls. So it's not something that is huge, but it's something that's very accepted. And
yeah,
as long as they get the right people coming in, and they really kind of based it off of what they used to do for concerts and things like that. They'd bring in comedians, they do heavy metal concerts, country concerts, whatever. But we constantly have things going on there. Yeah, either we have the Rush hockey team playing, which draws people to that place. Which this it's right in the center of town, so it's like a perfectly located area where
yeah,
people from all communities kind of gather in the center.
yeah.
Now, because of that, it's starting to take off. Now we're getting some new media conferences. We're getting conferences from sales leaders. We're getting business conferences all the time. We haven't got so much into the those conferences that are kind of on the outside edge. They're still kind of small. That like the presentation stuff I was talking about. They're
Yeah,
still kind of small. The networking and then the business, the small business things.
yeah.
But we still have SODECCon, South Dakota Comic Con version of Comic Con.
That
Um,
sure is big in the States.
yeah,
Comic
I don't
Con
get
thing.
it. I'm not a Comic Con person, but I have I for the last 2 years I've asked if I can come do something to present podcasting, and
Yeah.
I think podcasting is still a weird thing to people in South Dakota. So
Yeah.
they're just
Yeah. I want to do that here. There's a thing that happens here for business people. I think last year was the second year, and then in February is going to be the third year, and it's called SOHO, which stands for Small Office Home Office. And I went to the very first one that
oh,
was like
awesome.
in another city here. But then last year they had it here in Nanaimo for the first time. And so they have like you can go learn from people, you can watch a panel on different things. And again, last year they had nobody, and I totally forgot, I missed the deadline to apply about podcasting. And it still is, yeah, it's, but you know what? It still comes down to building relationships. Doesn't matter what you do, you have to build relationships with people, and you have to get to know people, and you have to do these little gatherings, and you have to do that.
Hmm.
That is still the main thing.
Absolutely.
That is one thing that will never change. It doesn't matter whether your business is online, offline. You have to meet people. It's interesting to me how many you go to a networking event and everybody's throwing their business card out at you, and no one will contact you. And I am
Hmm.
not usually the one to throw my business card out at people. I'm usually the one to collect the business cards because I want a reason to reach out to you.
Yeah.
I'm not going to give my card out. And it's amazing. I can email everybody. I could email 20 people that I got their card. It was great to meet you, and put something in there that I remembered from the conversation. And they do not reply back. And I think, are you really in business? Do you really want business? Are you afraid? Are you shy? There's something you got to deal with and get over, because if you're going to be in business, you have to step out of that box and step out of that comfort zone and like get to know people.
So when you
Nothing's
go to
happening.
these networking events like that, when you go to these events, what's your number one? What would you say your number one tip is for getting people to know you, and not just know you, but getting them to remember you?
Well, I don't usually have a problem with people remembering me because I speak pretty loud and I'm pretty talkative, and so it's really be yourself. Uh, I'm loud, so I stand up and I go, "Hey, my name is Lynn Brunette. I help people find their voice personally and professionally." And then I tell them, I work for, in an online radio station. I help people launch a podcast or radio show if that's what they want to do. Or I help people find their voice personally and help them emerge and find that person that they need to be. And I usually have a couple jokes, and then people are interested, and then people will ask questions. But once I get talking about podcasting, like,
Yeah,
there's no
it's
stopping me. And then people will come up to me and ask me for my card because they've heard about podcasting or they want to know more about it, but they're not quite sure. But I'm like, I will make sure I get your card before I make sure I hand out my card. So if you're unsure about networking, if you want to build your business, don't be so concerned about getting those 1,000 business cards to hand out. I mean, get some because the odd person will ask you, but you be more concerned about getting their business card, because then you can follow up with them. Then you have a reason to contact them. And
what
make it a goal to meet two. You don't have to meet everybody at an event. You don't have to meet everybody. So don't get so overwhelmed like, oh, this room full of people, how am I? Don't. Even if you just make one, have a goal of meeting two. Connect with two new people and ask questions, because people like to talk about themselves. Ask questions. Remember that, so when you contact them afterwards, you can go, so how is such and such? Or, did whatever, or something that you can help them with. They wanted something, you've got it, you're following up. Here's that thing I think that could help you that you mentioned in our conversation. Oh my God, you'll be a rock star. These are the
yeah.
things you have to do to connect with people. Like, you have to be interested in people if you're going to have a side hustle and eventually into a business.
Now this one here is a little bit of a trick. This little side hustle. I don't believe it's a side hustle necessarily in itself. Well, in fact, I know it's not a side hustle in it that by itself, but it's podcasting, what you were just talking about. And the reason why I put podcasting on here and on this list was only because I know what I've done with podcasting. Um, and it's not, I have never made a single cent from my podcast by itself. Never.
By
But
itself or indirectly?
No, directly.
Yeah,
Directly, my
that's the
podcast has
thing.
never made a single cent. However, the things that I've been able to do with my podcast by bringing people on who have had affiliate links, who give me an affiliate link, and when my audience would go and buy their book or whatever, I would get a piece of that. Those
Yeah,
indirect ways of
yeah,
making money. That's why I put it on there, is because it does give you an opportunity to put yourself out on a regular basis. And
yeah,
face it, when you become a podcast host, the longer people hear you, the longer people listen to you, the more loyal the people become. They will start looking to you for reasons to buy certain things, and to the
yeah,
point where we have to be picky as hosts. We can't just sell anything willy-nilly. We have to make
mm,
sure that it's in our best interest, or in our audience best interest.
yeah,
I am not going to bring somebody on my show, and I know you wouldn't bring someone on your show if they were just basically selling a $47 ebook that was trying to scam people out of 47 bucks.
yeah,
A little 19-page ebook that didn't really do anything that they couldn't find themselves if they just
yeah.
asked the right question. So,
Yeah, that's a
you
question
know,
I get a lot from people is, that I'll consult with, will I make money from my podcast? In this instant gratification, quick money making society, which I understand. If you are building a business, you want to know, if I'm going to podcast, am I going to make money? And I have the same thing, not directly from a podcast. You have to look at podcasting as, and it's a great side hustle thing. You have to look at it as advertising, like you would advertise on social media, like you go to networking events, maybe you do place an ad. Podcasting is just another means of advertising your business, but it's a great way to do that because you make connections. If you have guests, people get to see you often, they get an idea of who you are. People might have an idea of what I'm like and what you're like by posting, but then they watch us and they listen to us and they get an even deeper sense of who we are. So indirectly, yes, exactly. I tell people indirectly you can make money from podcasting. Tons of different ways.
yeah.
I got a client once years ago through podcasting, but podcasting brought me all other different little streams of money. I don't know why everybody doesn't do it, frankly. I just don't get it, but
Well, I
you
know
either
why
love it or you
everybody
don't.
doesn't do it. Yeah, I know why everybody doesn't do it. It's not something that it looks easy. It looks like, well, all I got to do is I got to get on the microphone and I tell my story, and that part is so simple.
Yeah.
It's after you get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes in, and you start struggling trying to figure out, what am I going to talk about? How do I share this same message again in a way that maybe relates to different people? There's it's the
That's when
thing
you come
about
to people like
podcasting.
us that have been around for a long time that are there to help you brainstorm.
And that brings in the another one of the lists. I mean, you're setting me up. I'll just keep knocking them down all night. And that's coaching. Coaching is a great way to make money if you're good at something. And I'm not just talking about life coaching or podcast coaching. I'm talking about any kind of coaching. Maybe you're
Mm-hmm.
great at baseball and you can teach a small hitting class to teenagers. Whatever it is, coaching is all over the board. It's from life coaching all the way to swim
Fitness
coach,
and
swimming. It's
writing. Yeah.
exactly. Coach
Anybody
someone
that
how
can
to
get
write
you
a
where you
blog.
want to go. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So,
And that's something you can do
um,
on the side. You can do it in the evenings, you can do it on the weekends. And if you have an intense passion about something that you want to do, that you enjoy it, I mean, hell, that's what life's about, doing these things that you enjoy. And maybe it will always just be a side thing. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean that that is your end all be all job. But a side hustle is, like you mentioned at the beginning, it's a great way to test proof of concept. Maybe you have a certain idea. Maybe it's a storefront. I mean, and we're talking a lot of online stuff, but maybe something you can start small out of your home, out of your garage. As a side hustle, it's great. You could have proof of concept before you take the big leap. Some people do take the big leap and just, they've got savings, they quit their job,
All
and
in.
that's
Yep.
it. Like,
All in,
I,
yeah.
I, I couldn't do that shit.
And I want to talk about something that Gary Vaynerchuk even talks about all the time is the buying and selling. We've got eBay, we've got Amazon, we got Etsy, we got all these ways to create, online stores and things like that. And when he talks about, I mean, I must have listened to, I bet you 30 different interviews with Gary Vaynerchuk. And in every single one of these 30 interviews, when they talk to him about, well, it's so hard to get started in business, blah, blah, blah. And he shuts them down as simply as saying, hey, buy low, sell high. Get on eBay, get an Amazon account, get an Etsy account, whatever you got to do. Find something on Amazon that's selling for 5 cents, sell it on eBay for 10 cents, find something on eBay for $5 and sell it on Amazon for $10. It's really that
How
simple.
bad
And
do you
guess
want
what?
it?
It's
How bad do
exactly
you
it.
want it?
How bad you want it? How much work are you willing to put into something? Because no matter what it is, it's going to be work. You can't rely on your wife or your husband to find you something to do to make a little extra money all the time. Every now and then I get lucky, but I can't rely on her to find those things for me. So you've got to be able, that's why they call it a hustle. You have to be able to get out there, grind it out, and find the work that you want to do. Jim
He's
Carrey
the one who
said it
says,
best.
you have to be willing to bleed out of your fucking eyeballs. Isn't that what Gary Vaynerchuk
I'm not, I like Gary Vaynerchuk. I love his energy. I love his intensity. But at the
Yeah.
same time, Gary, you can be full of shit sometimes too. I'm just going to put it out there. But anyhow,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think the best quote that I've ever heard was from Jim Carrey. He says, you can die doing the thing that you don't like. So why not live doing the things that you do like? You will fail 100 times, but that one time that you succeed, you will feel it'll be worth every minute of it. So go after what it is that you love to do. I mean, if you have a passion for something, try it out. And a side hustle is the perfect way to try it out.
Yeah. What have you got to lose? You don't enjoy it as much as you thought, or you're just not making the money after a couple of years, like, and it's not a business and you continue it as a hobby. I mean, what have you got to lose? Time's
So
passing. Try it out. Like, what if it is like the next pet rock and you're a freaking millionaire? Like try it out. What have you got to lose? It's so sad that people would rather choose misery over uncertainty.
There's a man.
Yeah.
Go ahead and finish that.
Go.
I was
I
going to
lost
say,
my thought now.
I'm sorry. I am so sorry. When you said that, I was like, there's a man here in this town. He didn't make his first $1 million until he was 68 years old. He started the business that made him that when he was 62 years old. So just because you might be getting up in age, whatever, it doesn't matter. If you still have a passion and you still have that fire in your gut to go after something, go after it. Whether you're 22 or 62, it's not too late. It's not too late to find your passion and just go after it with everything you got.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just see George Spike Reel just came on.
Awesome.
Great voiceover guy. If you need voiceover work, contact George. Oh, Evelyn too, that's been watching in my area. If you're watching and you're also where I live, she does house sitting and pet sitting.
Hey, George.
Because we're talking about side hustles.
Side hustles, yeah. And hey, George, I need to update, man. I need to update my Raw and Real intro. Folks, if you don't know what this guy sounds like, listen to an episode of Raw and Real live. Mm-hmm. He is on every single beginning of every one of my shows ever since last year, November of 2016, when he did my read. Oh my God.
Best voice ever.
Yeah, I will send it to you, my friend. I will. And
Yeah.
please drop your link in the comments. If you have, Evelyn, you do the same thing. I don't usually do this, but tonight we are going to do it. Drop your links
Yeah.
in the comments, and we're going to share those out. If
Yeah.
even if I want people to know who the people are that are just putting themselves out there, who have the courage to really just try for it all, swing for the fences. 'Cause, that's what
Yeah.
we're all about.
That's right.
We're,
I
we're not
mean,
the certainty
you know,
types. We're the uncertainty types. Swing for the fence.
that's right. That's right. I posted something yesterday that your pleasure is your power. I mean, that's how we learn. It's in the things that we love. And it's in the taking action, like we talked about yesterday. Take action, do something. So many people want to find what's their passion, but it's in the doing that you find what your passion is. So, I mean, we're all about try it out, try it out. You can get started for
For sure.
zero. Oh my God, I'm a master at that. So if you have any questions, and actually CJ too. Like I learned, I tell you, way, way back in the beginning to do things on very little money. It's awesome. There's George's link.
Sometimes you have to.
It's yeah, you become resourceful, you find a way to get around it. I found a way to podcast way like 9 years ago, 8 years ago, that didn't cost me money. Boy, was I found a way to do it because I just didn't have it. I started there
Thanks,
and then,
Chris. Awesome.
I just, you can work your way up. It's in the doing. I think it's almost a risk not to try that business or that. It's almost a risk not to. You don't know what's possible with it, and find people that can help you out. If you don't know how you're going to go about doing it, talk to people. There's people out there willing to help. Absolutely.
I've got one last one, and I've been saving this entire time because earlier in the beginning of the show, I told you I had that one freebie that absolutely is a rock star freebie. This is that one. This is that.
Okay. Oh
This is
yeah,
that
yeah.
freebie.
Okay.
Okay, so this is what I did just recently, and if you're a handy person, yeah, and I'm not saying just do a handyman service and stuff like that. It's literally is the easiest reoccurring money you will ever make, and it doesn't cost you a dime to start. If you have a few tools and you're able to go out and do the job, you build a service contract business, and you go out to mobile home parks that maybe aren't big enough to hire a supervisor or a superintendent. You go to smaller apartment complexes and duplexes, and you can also go to homeowners, and you can offer, say, for $30 a month, I'll come over to your house once a month, and at that time, if there's anything that we need to do to your house, whether it be changing a doorknob, changing a faucet head, or whatever, I'll do it right then and there, and it's a $30 a month service fee. However, if you have to call me out because, say, your stove isn't working right, or maybe your water heater's going out and you need me to change that and you have to call me for that, well, then it's a $50 service fee at the time of the service. So
That's a
I
great
had
idea. I'd
just,
pay $30 a month to have somebody come around every month to go, hey,
right, right,
I
just to
got
kind of
shit right
check your
now.
house, make sure there's no leaves clogging up the gutters, especially right now in the fall. Leaves start clogging up the gutters, create ice dams, cause a whole lot of damage to your shingles and your gutters. So it's nice to be able to have someone that will come around once, maybe you can even set up for twice a month. Just come around, make sure, for like for an elderly couple, say you do a special for 65 and above, and you want to make sure that they're taken care of and you want to take care of them the right way. So maybe you come around twice a month versus just once a month.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's something that is really simple to get started, and it didn't cost me a dime.
No, it
Absolutely
wouldn't.
free. It was
Yeah.
absolutely free. All it took was me walking down the street, like I did with, I created a form. I went to LegalZoom.com, created the service plan with everything in it, and I think that cost me. I don't even think it cost me anything. I think I used a trial period, so it didn't even cost me nothing. And I created that service plan, printed a bunch of them off at work. Just he said yes, and and I just I talked to different homeowners and I offered them the plan, and 5 people signed up the first day. So you can see how that would make it's real easy to kind of get
Yeah.
that started. And I'm
Yeah.
only 3 days into this whole thing, so 3 days. I've only been able to go out one day. That was Sunday, and 5 people are signed up. Not too bad.
Yeah.
100 an extra $150 a month, and
Yeah.
all it
That's a
takes me
great
is
idea.
so that's my freebie. That's the one that I'm going to give away to people. Go around your community, and here's the best part about it. It will work if you're in a city with 1 million people, and it will work if you're in a town with 300 people.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
so
That's a
that's
great
all.
idea. There's just so many things. There's just so many things you can do. Just, yeah. Just think about what do you have to offer. I think people are just, lack of confidence and thinking that, I could do that myself. People could do that. Why would they pay me? No, they're paying you because it saves them time. That's why
Yeah,
people have, people that come and clean their houses. Yeah, they can clean their own house, but it's worth it to them to have someone else do it because it frees up their time.
exactly. Because I
I
just
would
don't
hire a
want to
cook.
do it.
That's right.
Oh,
I would hire a cook because I
so would I.
freaking hate cooking.
I hate cooking. Actually, I like barbecuing, but I hate cooking. I don't get it. It is what it is. But yeah, if I could afford to hire a chef, I sure would hire a chef because
Yeah.
well, I would eat out every day if I didn't have
Yeah.
to worry about my waist size. I would eat out every day.
Yeah.
Pizza, probably pizza. You know. But
Pizza's good.
anyways, we are coming up to the very end. We are out of time. We've talked about side hustles.
Oh
We've
my
talked about
God.
entrepreneurship.
We could
And
talk more
anytime,
about this.
I know we're going to have to do more because it is Entrepreneur Month here. And
It is.
yeah, there's so much more that we can explore. So much more.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. So if anybody has questions or, maybe you're thinking of an idea, like reach out to us and ask. I mean, we both have done lots of different things and we know lots of people and we can connect you with somebody if you need it, like whatever it is. So, and if you have a business, pop the link to your website or whatever in the comments, please. It's National Entrepreneur Month. Let's support each other. That's what it's about, supporting each other.
And
So,
if you're a veteran and you're a veteran business owner and you want to meet other veteran business owners and network and collaborate, do me a favor. Go on over and check out the Veteranpreneur Tribe. We have been doing some pretty amazing things over there. And I'll tell you what, Andrew he's a cool dude. And he welcomes you in, and it's not one of those groups where everybody's pitching everybody. It literally is people helping people, veterans helping veterans. So if you're a veteran and you want to learn a little bit more about what it is that you want to start up, you don't have to be an entrepreneur to start in the group. Maybe you just have a plan to. But I tell you what, there are some 8-figure earners in this group, and some of the knowledge that they've shared in the group free
holy
is
shit.
absolutely phenomenal.
Well, that's a
Phenomenal.
great place
Oh,
to go if you'd like to, yeah. And if you're not an entrepreneur, but you'd like to start something, but you don't have an idea, go to a networking group and
yeah.
talk to them. Why do they do it? And what do they have to offer? And I mean, or even you want to get another revenue stream because I think you should have a few. I have a few.
Yeah.
Like you should have a few.
Yeah,
There's no
that's like you
guarantee.
said. Have 7. Those are the rich guys.
The
I've got
average
3.
millionaire.
I'm collecting revenue streams, folks. I am out. I am on collecting revenue streams. I'm on 3.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah.
but thank you very much
So
for watching, everybody.
yeah, thank you. And keep up the business and keep going.
And Friday, we'll be coming to you with another episode of Free for All Grit and Grace TV. Yeah, because Fridays are fun days, and we like to have
They're
fun.
fun
We
days.
like to.
We
Yeah.
yeah. We kick back, we answer viewer questions, we talk about whatever, we shoot the shit. Join us.
Yeah. So Friday night, well, 9 Mountain Time, 11
Yeah.
Eastern, 8
8
Pacific.
Pacific.
We're going to have a lot of fun. It's going to be great. Thank you very much, George, for checking this out. Please drop your link. Gary Todd, thank you for joining us. I'm sorry we are at the end of the show, but you want to find more about what we got going on. All you got to do is go to gritandgracetv.com. And we have a great resources tab. And not only that, we have space where you can interact with us. So if you have a question that maybe you don't know if you want your name to get out there, maybe it's a little embarrassing or whatever, go ahead and ask it because it's completely anonymous. And if you have a show topic that you just are burning to hear us talk about, add that too, but make sure you put your name with it because we want to give you credit for that topic idea.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, visit our website. We got everything there. Everything you could possibly want to know. Well, not everything.
So till next time, folks, keep hustling.
Stay wild.